Make sure, Rich, you all good? I am now. All right. Good evening. I'd like to call the Lincoln Way 210, February 15th, 2024 Board of Education regular meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can you please call the roll?
Dana Berthold. Catherine Johnson.
Here.
Joseph Kostek.
Here.
Richard Lacine.
Here.
Caitlin Olenek. Deidre Stokes.
Here.
Aaron Janik.
Here. All right, we will have our student council presidents. Would anyone like to volunteer to go first? All right, good job.
Wait, the button. Which one is it? This one?
There you go.
There we go. Whoops. Good evening. I'm Ellie Nunkovich, the Student Council President. I'd like to begin by announcing that Student Council has been busy with planning the Winter Dance, which is Saturday, February 24th. We are so excited to put up our enchanted decorations and welcome in students for a night of dancing and fun. I think this dance, along with the Week of Spirit Days, will be a great boost to the energy within our school. Looking forward, the Student Council is making plans for Teacher Appreciation Week and also for our annual snack drive to benefit Gigi's Playhouse. This fundraiser is my personal favorite, and I am looking forward to benefiting a local business that helps so many people in our community. On that same note, I'd like to recognize some other groups at West that are doing great things. NHS just held donations for craft and self-care supplies. We had members and outside students contribute to a collection that went to the cottages of New Lenox. Warrior Way is working on cards to distribute for Random Acts of Kindness Day, which is February 17th. Our chess team earned the opportunity to represent Lincoln Way West at the IHSA State Tournament. Mathletes and Scholastic Bowl members are preparing for postseasons. Also, our theater company held a senior-directed showcase, which was an entertaining event for both West students and members of the community. We have had several West students presented with the opportunity to represent our school at SWSC events, including the Band Festival, Newspaper Conference, and Visual Arts Festival. All of these warriors have had wonderful accomplishments this semester. Our athletics have also seen many accomplishments recently. Our competitive dance team had an excellent season, bringing home first-place titles from the SWSC Conference and the IHSA Sectional. We are proud to say that their hard work paid off as they earned second place at the IHSA State Competition. Boys and girls basketball have both seen successful seasons, and senior Eli Bach has set the school record for 42 points scored in one game, while also reaching 1,000 career points. Competitive cheerleading also had many achievements this season, including qualifying for the IHSA State Finals. 5 wrestlers, Zoe Dempsey, Jay Salin, Shane Stream, Luke Sawinski, and Nick Kavoris all qualified for the IHSA State Tournament. Lastly, our boys' swim and dive team were also SWSC Conference champions. We are so proud of the hard work that the Warriors have put into their seasons. Lastly, we had the privilege of visiting our feeder junior highs to inform them about last night's open house. We saw lots of faces at the event and are looking forward to getting a whole new class of Warriors next year. As always, I couldn't be prouder to be a Warrior. Thank you.
Thank you. Who would like to go next?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sama Mohsen, and I will be presenting on behalf of Lincoln Way East as Student Council President. After a very productive first semester and a relaxing winter break, East students are back at school and hard at work in the classroom. During the first few weeks of school, underclassmen have been focused on choosing their schedules for next year. To help students decide, the PPS department presented class options for next year, and teachers completed their course recommendations for their students. Now that our current students finished picking their schedules, it is time for the incoming freshmen to choose. In order to help them decide, we hosted our Class of 2028 open house last night. Incoming freshmen had the chance to meet with teachers, coaches, and sponsors to see what East has to offer. We are very excited to see all of our incoming Griffins next year. Also, this past weekend, Student Council put on the You Go to the Disco Winter Dance. We hosted over 1,300 students for a night of dancing, eating, and fun. Not only did students get a chance to dance under a disco ball in the gym, but they also had the opportunity to hang out with friends and enjoy food from Jet's Pizza, Boba Heaven, and Do Right Donuts. Plus, students could commemorate the night by taking a video with their friends at our 360-degree photo booth. 360. Additionally, our winter sports teams are currently rolling through their seasons. All teams are preparing for upcoming conference and sectionals competitions. We look forward to seeing all the successes of our sports teams and hope for some state qualifying teams as well. Furthermore, our activities are in full swing. Dance Marathon is planning a Miracle Makers event with Lurie Children's Hospital. Also, Lincoln Way East was selected as the esports sectional site. The chess team finished strong at state, and our mathletes and Scholastic Bowl teams are heading into regionals and sectionals. Lastly, we are so excited to host Mr. and Miss Griffin this spring. This program will showcase senior boys and senior girls competing for the title of Mr. and Miss Griffin while also highlighting several talent show acts along the way. This show will be held on March 9th. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Lila Hadley, the Student Council President at Lincoln Way Central. The night started the second semester strong with a very busy but exciting past few weeks. Our Student Council hosted a wonderful A Night at the Rose ceremony, a little play off The Bachelor, with lots of dancing, people smiling at our photo booth, or eating some Annie Ann's pretzels. It was a super fun night filled with great music, high energy, and lots of roses. Currently, the Student Council is looking to our annual Teachers of the Night event, where members anonymously invite a teacher who has made a profound impact on them to share dinner, dessert, and conversation. I look forward to this night every year as it is a great way to honor the amazing and special Central teachers. Central has done their part in welcoming the class of 2028 into the Knight family. We had our open house last night where students listened to the enthusiastic Dr. McNamara talk about their home for the next 4 years, walked our fieldhouse track to sign up for clubs, or feel strongly encouraged to sign up for clubs by the very excited Central students, and picked up their first Knight spirit wear. I hope after the open house and visits from student leaders to Martino and Mokina Junior High, as well as Noonan Academy and St. Mary's last week, the class of 2028 students are eager to become Knights. On the activity side, the Knights have been hard at work. Scholastic Bowl athletes have been practicing tirelessly for their upcoming regional tournaments, and we wish them the best of luck. Chess had a huge success qualifying and competing at state, and our band had the opportunity to perform at Alavés SWSC Band Fest. We are very proud of all their accomplishments. On the mat, the Knights have been a force to be reckoned with. Competitive dance had its highest finish in school history, taking 11th at the IHSA state competition. Our competitive cheer team once again represented Central proudly with a 6th place finish at their state competition. On the court, the girls' basketball team is SWSC Red Conference champs for the 3rd year in a row and are in the hunt for a 3rd consecutive regional championship. And our boys had an exciting 65-58 win over Lincoln Way East on Tuesday night for our senior night, so we were extremely proud of them. Boys bowling qualified as a team for their state championship, and senior Gracie Garino qualified for the IHSA State Wrestling Championship and will compete next weekend, looking to improve on her back-to-back state runner-up performances. With fun events, dominating athletics, and new additions to the Knight family, Central has a lot to be proud of and even more to look forward to as we head into spring. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. All right, we have no public comment this evening, so I'll move ahead to the consent agenda. We have items D1 through D7. Would anyone like anything pulled individually? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
All right, can you please open the vote?
Vote is open. Vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up, under action items, we have the presentation of invoices for January 19th, 2024 through February 15th, 2024. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
to get them up, it wouldn't answer, come up here.
How about a motion to approve invoices from January 19th, 2024 through February 15th, 2024 in the amount of $3,084,574.59.
So moved.
All right, do we have a second? Any questions?
PDF open.
I do have a question about them, and Mike, we may be talking about this later or not, but we have the payment for cleaning services for North. I don't know if that'd be a good time to discuss payments for what's going on there.
Sure, absolutely. So the cleaning invoice finally came due, so we're paying this in arrears, and as you know, Lockport is reimbursing us for that cost. And on that note, we set monthly rent for Lockport for the first 3 months at $250, including that cleaning and utilities and everything else. They're just under $240, and so we'll do a credit and true up with them to answer that question. And then moving forward, utilities and everything else, we're ballparking about $100,000 for monthly February through May. And then so their CSBO and I will reconcile at a couple more points throughout the year.
And that's working well? Knock on wood, everything's,
Yes.
okay.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent relationship.
Okay.
Great. I have another question. Also, in regards to that, is that once you reconcile, if there is the agreement that we'll get any difference from them as well, or does it seem like everything is covered? For the payment, they're making,
Oh, sure, yeah, they're making payments to us, and then any kind of true ups up or down that we need to do to reconcile it, all actual costs will be passed through to them.
okay,
Yep.
okay. Sorry about that.
No,
All
you're
right.
good.
Any other questions? Oh, all right, we have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting's open. Vote is unanimous, motion passes.
All right, next up, under action items, we have the treasurer's report for January 2024.
Revenues for the month of January were $3.3 million. Expenses were $32.7 million, 23.7 of which was the bond payment. All funds cash balance on January 31st was $34 million. As you can see in the second section of the treasurer's report, we're trending very appropriately with both revenues and expenses in terms of the operating budget. We're trending a little bit ahead in terms of revenues, and we're trending a little bit better than this point last year in terms of expenses. Investments, we continue to stay very high in our liquid rate. I have worked with PMA to identify some treasury bonds that would be good for us to lock into. But right now, the kind of short to midterm that we have, those rates are going down. And so the 6-month rates are lower. They advised us to sit tight at this time. Cash flow report, cash flow variance was $156,000. Revenues were within 460 and expenses within 600. There was no singular category that stood out, so.
All right, any questions on the treasurer's report? For the bond payment of 23.7, obviously leaves us around what was it here, about 1.1 million. When's our next bond payment?
So it's every July 1 and January 1.
Right,
Yep.
so July 1, we'll have some more tax revenue that,
Yeah, this spring we'll get more revenue
Right.
to
Pumps that
bolster
up.
that fund, and then we'll have enough to make the payments then. Yep.
perfect.
Mhm.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any additional questions? All right, hearing none, can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. Vote is unanimous, vote passes.
All right, next up, we have the student activities report for January of 2024.
Student activities report and student your backup material for month ended January 31. Fund balance is $2,251,768 with revenues of $226,557 and expenditures of $394,839. We do have 5 that are in the negative. It's a timing balance of some fundraising activities. I know badminton had their big tournament this past weekend, so they probably will cover that. And Skills East was already out of the red. I ask you to approve the student activity account summary as presented.
Can I get a motion to approve the report?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Any questions? All right, hearing none. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. Mr. Costick, may I call your vote? Vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have the technology purchase for staff devices.
Including your backup material is a memo from Cheryl K., Director of Technology, to approve the purchase of 250 laptops from CDWG for $299,692.56 as presented. This is part of our budget. It's been included in our 5-year financial forecast. We're on a 4-year cycle for our teachers. We hang in there, and we've managed to, that's worked for us. Obviously, 3 would be better, but 4 has worked. We get 3 years, correct, Cheryl, of warranty on everything, and then if we have to work through it, we do. But we were successful this round. We hope we will as well. Again, as the memo indicates, multiple district staff members evaluate different models from different vendors, and we settled on the Lenovo again. Cheryl or Mike could answer any specific questions, but once again, this is something that we've been doing now. This will be our at least second cycle through for our 4-year cycles.
I have a quick question. So the 4 years have just been working, that 1 year that we're unprotected, that do we find ourselves in that year? Because the warranty is only 3 years, correct? But the 4-year cycle means that there's 1 year where we have our fingers crossed, but I'm assuming that that's been working, right?
Yes, it has been working, so we do, on our staff laptops, we have the 3 years of the factory warranty, and we also have the accidental damage protection on the staff devices because they're a little more expensive than our student devices. And for this 4th year, what we've done is kind of put parts together to make working machines or
Okay.
order some replacement parts. But our replacement part numbers have been low that we've had to pay for, so the 4-year cycle has worked for us.
Is there, have we evaluated it against do they even offer a 4-year warranty? And have we evaluated it against buying it? Is it such a nominal amount that we end up spending? But have we evaluated the cost?
With our student devices, we were able to work a deal for a 4-year warranty, for those devices. But with the accidental damage protection on the staff devices, that does up the cost of the warranty. And I feel that what we've paid for in replacement parts for devices doesn't really justify that extra cost for us.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Do you anticipate any issues receiving all the devices on time?
Well, we're going in February, just to make sure that we have plenty of time. We'd asked for our student devices in December, and the first order came in for West yesterday. And I've gotten shipment notifications for Central and East, so we're at that 2 to 3 months. So if I let them know here at the end of February, beginning of March, that we're going to have this large order, we would try and get those this year for any parts or things that we needed, and then we replace the other half the following year.
Comment. Do we think in the future, because we do so much business with them, that we could negotiate and have that extra protection, just so that on the technology department, you guys are not trying to piece things together, which is so appreciated because it saves us. But maybe that's something in the future because they're doing so much business with us, and now we have the one-to-one in the district. So
Yes,
just so we can kind of take that load off of the technology department.
Yeah, we can go back to
Okay.
our Lenovo rep and our CDW reps and ask for that.
Okay.
All right. Any additional questions? Hearing none, can I get the motion to approve the purchase for staff devices as presented?
So moved.
All right, can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. Voting is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up, we have the elementary transportation intergovernmental agreements.
So as you know, we discussed this last month in a first read. Nothing has changed. What we're asking for, and the feeder districts are taking to their boards as well. Manhattan has already approved theirs, for example, is a 1-year IGA with Manhattan and then 5 years for Frankfurt and Union.
Any questions?
Do we anticipate Manhattan moving on, keeping on with us after this year, or no?
Well, what we're hoping is with that new bell schedule and the new school that's opened, we're hoping that both districts can find success in the routes. This just gives Manhattan the flexibility and Lincoln Way Transportation the flexibility to take that year and evaluate.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Don't want to jinx it, but we have had some success recently with some new drivers. So we continue to see some growth there, which will be crucial for us to maintain the services to Manhattan. Will be some additional drivers.
They originally had a 2-year, right? Did they just now do a 1 year?
We talked about 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yep.
So they went
And
back.
so, yeah, so last month, in working with them, we thought it was fair just to evaluate that bell schedule. We'll know in
Yeah.
terms of staffing and the routing after a year.
Smart.
Excuse me. All right, any additional questions? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the elementary transportation agreement renewals as presented?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. Vote is unanimous, motion passes.
All right, next up is the school bus bid and leasing contract award.
So this is once again, as discussed last month, we are reducing the fleet a little bit. We have extra spares, and with Summit Hill being gone, we're able to do that. And so we went out to bid for 57 vehicles. And over the past several bid cycles, 3 consistent vendors have submitted proposals. That's Midwest Transit, who we currently have leased buses from for, I don't know, probably the last 4 or 5 bid cycles. They have won. But also Midwest Bus Sales and Central States Bus Sales. And so when it came time to the bid opening, I'd had a conversation, Mike Leone as well had conversations with all 3 bidders about the specifications. One elected not to submit a bid stating, and that is Midwest Bus Sales, stating that he could not meet the specifications. The other one came to the bid opening, let us walk through opening up Midwest Transit so he can see where the figures are at, and then let us know that he was a no bid because he couldn't meet the timing deadline. He couldn't guarantee the buses. And so where I would love to see in certain circumstances, I would love to see 4 or 5 bids for something like this. These are the 3 vendors that we've seen bid in terms of our business over the last several cycles. Midwest Transit's been low every time. And so last month I presented that my ballpark was $22,000 to $23,000 per bus per year. They came in at $21,717. And that totals $1,237,869 per year, which we then pay, and as you know, we receive reimbursement of 65% of that amount from the different feeder districts for the shared transportation costs. So I recommend approval with Midwest Transit for these 57 buses on a 5-year lease. Happy to take any questions if you have them.
Any questions for Mike?
Did they tell you what's in the specifications that they can't meet? I mean, is it something that, it's just this cycle? Because they bid it last time, right?
Yeah, sure. So, we added 2 things, and so one of the things in talking with these 3 vendors, in conversations with 2 of them, was air conditioning for the driver, not whole bus air conditioning, but just in that area, smaller BTU, and as well as a heated seat. And we thought that those specifications were important to attract and retain. We've lost bus drivers to, whether that be District 843, other places where the small yellow buses have air conditioning. It's a lot more comfortable. Drivers like that. So we think this is really important for drivers, right? And so we have the conversation. Multiple vendors say they can deliver on that. One of them said he couldn't, and then the other one said, I can do that, but I can't guarantee them over the summer, and obviously we need them in time. And I don't want to be, right now with Midwest Transit, if they hit any delay, the buses that are expiring go back to them. And so there is some flexibility where they've said, hey, we can leave those buses, so there's no harm, we're not going to be stuck.
Right.
So I feel good there, but the air conditioning and the heated seat were the new specifications that I think played a wrench in at least one of the bidders.
So do we need to do it at an earlier cycle, like a longer, okay.
Yeah, we've already had conversation about that. One of the pieces of the timing wasn't necessarily, this is no different than when we've gone out before. As
Right.
you know, I've done extensions when the timelines were just like HVAC. I'd like to go out a little bit earlier, but in particular, the timing piece had to do with an order so large, with it being 57 buses.
Right.
So that was the other factor at play here, is it's not just 20 buses or 30 buses. So it's the quantity.
When is our next cycle up?
So the remaining 73 buses, about half of those come due a year from now. Call that 35, and then
Right.
the remainder the following June. So we have an opportunity the next 2 years to then replace about 35 and 35.
So do we need to talk about this in like September then?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're working with the Transportation Department. Mike and I have had conversations. Our new Transportation Director, Indy Reeser, and I have had some conversations about next year. What I'd like to do is get through the routing, get through and see where we stand in terms of routes, how many buses that we know we need for Manhattan, for example, with those
Right.
additional routes. And then we'll be able to take stock in the fall and if we need to rehab any bid specs and go out sooner.
These are all diesel engine buses?
They are.
You heard about the EV stuff with the cold weather not starting, so just want to make sure we have buses running in the winter.
That's a good question.
Well, you hear about government programs with, going EV, save money, get rebates, and now you have 30 buses that don't start when it's 10 degrees out, so. E-learning day. All right, any additional questions? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the proposed bus lease with, thanks,
Second.
Rich, I wasn't done, but that's okay.
Oh, okay, here it is.
All right, so we have a motion and a second.
Okay.
Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. Vote is unanimous, motion passes.
All right, we have under informational items, report of the Lincoln Way Special Education District 843 Governing Board meeting held January 23rd, 2024.
Dr. Berthold is not here, and we do not have the corresponding minutes, but we will get those to you, and we'll have 2 months on the next cycle.
All right, any FOIA requests?
None to report.
Buildings and ground report.
Buildings and grounds are in your backup materials. We'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions on that from anyone? Okay. Community relations report.
Also in your backup materials for your review.
District 210 advisory.
We had a meeting on January the 23rd, and it was great. We reviewed the handbook, and there's only a few items that mainly grammatical, some clarification items that we are addressing. So I think we will probably move along. Our next meeting is February 27th, I believe. Let's see. Yep, February 27th at 6 p.m. And so we will revisit those items of clarification, but it was a fairly efficient and quick meeting.
All right, thank you. We then have the quarterly insurance report.
Included in your backup materials is the quarterly insurance report. Mike, if you just want to give a high level, we've seen just a little better trend, but Mike, go ahead.
Yep. Medical is trending well in the last few months to end that calendar year 23, and in terms of the fiscal year budget, much better aligned. So we've made the corrections we need to make there. Costs exceeding premiums, as you can see in STUM's report, by 2.6%. That is a lot closer than it's been the last 2 years, so that's good news. Dental and vision. Dental funded at $748,000, costs were $742,000. And then vision is within $1,300. So I feel fine about those areas.
All right, any questions on the insurance report? Any particular reason what's driving the cost down now?
Some of the driving down of costs to end the calendar year was our stop loss kicking in. And so we'll see how January and February trend now with that refresh in the calendar year. So something we're keeping our eye on.
All right. First reading, Board of Education meeting schedule.
Included in your backup materials is the first reading. All regularly scheduled meetings will begin at 7 in the Knights of Round Table Hall at Lincoln Way Central unless otherwise noticed. Rich, please note, August 8th. Sorry. There'll be no July meeting. So we'll move the August meeting up 1 week to be able to pay those bills. And then we go straight through, very, very consistent after that. If there are no questions or concerns, we'll bring that back to formal approval this next month. Keep in mind that next year will be a board election cycle. So we've checked the calendar, we've talked to the county clerk in terms of the canvassing of votes, and these dates for April and May will work for the vote, canvassing of the votes and seating of new board members.
All right. Any questions on that? No? Okay. All right. First reading for registration fees for 24-25.
The only change we recommend after looking at our fees and comparing with some in the area would be an actual cost of yearbooks going from $40 to $50 just to cover our cost. There's been increases, obviously, in supplies and different things. We have not increased that cost as long as I can remember. So that would be our only recommendation. As you can see, we kind of fall there in the middle. But you know, we're happy to answer any questions, and then the list of proposed fees is on there. But we would bring that back for discussion and approval at the next month's meeting. We've done a lot of, for those that have been on the board for quite some time, we've done a lot of work on these, if you remember. I mean, the technology fee and the different student costs and the activity fees, we've put all the classroom fees right back into student registration instead of individual classroom fees. So over the past 5 years, Kelly's done a lot of work trying to streamline the process, make it a little bit easier for parents, and so I think the boards, we've managed that well. They're more manageable than they once were.
Yeah, we're in line with most of the other districts in the area.
Surrounding districts, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does that yearbook cost go inside that? Is that part of that? The yearbook cost?
Yearbook cost would be an additional
Additional,
registration fee, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do students still purchase yearbooks? I mean,
Yes, they do.
okay.
Yes,
I don't
they
know
do.
with smartphones and everything, if that's still a thing.
No, it's,
Okay.
they still do it, and they take those 2 or 3 days to sign them, and, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that will
Yeah.
ever go away.
Yeah.
I still have mine. Not that I look at them, but I still.
Did you have a good summer, Aaron?
That one year I did.
Did you stay cool?
I was never cool, Joe.
Oh, I see.
All right, next up, we have first reading for meal prices.
So, meal prices were increased a quarter for the 23-24 school year to $3.25 and $5.25, and we're doing fine. The recommendation would be to hold the meal prices steady for 1 more year.
Pizza puffs are staying the same.
Pizza, yeah, no increase in the pizza puffs, so we'll be okay there for 1 more year.
Legislative report,
I did include in your backup material a master bill list.
just
We
a
don't-
few.
Yeah, I'm sorry, there's a lot on there. I'll let you know, next week will be the week when we know what's going to get called. So right now, we don't know, there's a couple different things out there, but nothing to necessarily impact us. Like one of the ones I had to respond to today was a driver's ed bill that at least an hour of instruction has to do with driving in a construction zone. Well, that's already kind of part of the curriculum, so we felt that was okay. But that's one that's definitely going to move to committee, but we don't know of the others, really which ones will make it out. But I'll let you know as next week that will start going again.
All right, thank you. Superintendent's district report.
We had a special recognition. Illinois State Board of Education, those who excel, award of special recognition to Jessica Pascarella. Jessica is a special services teacher at West, does an outstanding job for us, so we wanted to go ahead and recognize Jessica for her contributions to our school community. So congratulations to Jessica.
Yes, congratulations, Jessica. We then have other district business.
So we need to assign 2 members to review closed session minutes from June 1, 23 through December 31st, 2023.
Well, there's 2 board
Two not
members
missing.
absent.
Typically the way it works. Seems a fair way to do it, yeah.
So I will assign the 2 board members that were unable to make the meeting tonight the task of reviewing those minutes.
Perfect. I will work with them, and we will get those ready for the next meeting.
All right, then we have correspondence.
Correspondence, just a thanks from the Frankfurt Square Park District. We did provide them with a letter of support. They were awarded a $600,000 grant for the redevelopment of Hunter Prairie Park, which is one of their original parks in their park district. So we were happy to write a letter, and they were able to receive the grant.
Great. All right, and with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss collective negotiations.
So moved.
Can you please, is that all in favor, say aye? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, with that, we are in closed session, and there will be no action.